Lowdown with Loren Meadows, a Sidelines Sports Network production. Tonight, we take a look at the SEC softball tournament with Florida broadcaster Ryan Urquhart, Jennifer Falby, mother of folk hero in the making outfielder Kendra Falby, Rob Browne of SEC Sidelines bring the knowledge, and we'll have two brand new segments, Kicks of the Week, and we go hype or have at it with the latest in sports and pop culture. We want to thank our sponsors, Meldon Law and Titan MRI Imaging. Please like and subscribe to the Lowdown with Loren Meadows on YouTube and Facebook. Follow yours truly on Instagram at Ohio Gator for Life and X at Real Ohio Gator. Let's get to it. With this being the second episode of the Lowdown with Loren Meadows, I want to take time to thank some folks that have made this possible. First and foremost, my queen, my wife, Marcia, my Gator Bait Media family, including executive producer Brendan Martin and the legend Buddy Martin. My guy David Aronoff for the vision. My boy Nat Blaylock for unwavering support. My boy Brent English, guys that have been with me from the beginning. And my brother Marion for the name of the show, even though he reps them Buckeyes. And a big shout out to everybody in Dayton, Ohio, my folks in the 937 with everybody supporting me. Just really reaching out. Congratulations and everything. We're going to make this thing big. And you guys in Dayton, man, my guys, I want to make sure that you get on. There's a lot of guys from DYT. They got big stories, man. So hop in with me and let's talk ball. But with that, we bring in Rob Browne of SEC Sidelines. How you doing, Rob?
Good. I love the color scheme, man. That is
you like that?
Good looking orange. I love the graphics. That's what you got, Brendan, man. It's like having, I don't know. I could say having Buddy as a mentor for writing is like having Michelangelo as your art instructor. Having Brendan as your instructor is like having Jensen Huang as your IT guy. That's the CEO of NVIDIA.
Yeah, no doubt.
Founder.
We want to thank our sponsors, Meldon Law, Titan MRI and Imaging. And we're ready to go. Rob, what's on your mind, man? What's going on?
All right, a little bit of trivia here for the Gators. I pulled up the top 20 college programs with the most active NFL players. Now, I keep harping on the Gators having this roster, ninth on the Blue Chip Index, and I got to update it with the portal stuff. But Florida and Auburn are as rough as things have been the last 5 years. They're tied at 14th most players on active NFL rosters. Auburn and Florida each have 36 players in the NFL. That's hard to believe, man. And then we just had the draft. We got to add on top of that.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, several guys went. Chimradike, I think, was the highest rated, highest drafted Florida player. And I think he's going to be, somebody that we talked about it before, steal of the draft. I like the free agent signing of Elijah Badger to the Kansas City Chiefs. I saw the Power Index came out, and one of the things that they applauded the Kansas City Chiefs on, kind of have them at the top of the list right now, is because of the upgraded receiver and obviously getting Hollywood Brown back for the entire season. I think he only played like 2 games, and then obviously the Eagles right behind him. So when the time comes, I know they're in OTAs and all that right now, but it'll be interesting to see where those teams go and see if we get basically a trilogy of Kansas City versus Philly down the road.
Hey, SEC schools, even when things are tough, are still putting out the players. And then if you look at Ohio State, Quinshon Judkins winning the 3rd or 4th round, he was an Ole Miss guy an SEC guy until he wasn't. But I think right now you're about to see a big surge with several teams in the SEC, and this is one of them.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt. Florida is primed, and I know there was some news today that hopefully works out for a young man. I won't put his name out there because we don't cover we uplift people here on the Lowdown with Loren Meadows, but sounds like things were a little over exaggerated, maybe, so those that know what I'm talking about, I just want to send best wishes to all that are involved and hope everything works out for that young man. But yeah, I think that Florida Gator Nation got some good news. Sounds like DJ Lagway has been throwing, working out with his trainer. We'll talk about 247 came out with their rankings for the best quarterbacks in the SEC. So we'll talk about top 5, top 10 in that realm a little later on the show. But yeah, I mean, I think anytime you got a quarterback, Rob, and you've seen it even with your Auburn Tigers, they kind of been in search for that, search of that next quarterback. Kind of like Florida was in the woods after Tebow. But when you got a signal caller, a guy like DJ Lagway, who some are thinking could be the top draft pick in 2027 in that draft, I think you're on the right track. And we talked about the receivers. The O-line is experienced, and they're poised to have a good year. Now, the schedule's daunting, but, I always talk about it. Everybody says you got to win 10, 11 to get in the playoff. But with Florida's schedule, if you win the right 9 and maybe lose the right 3, you got a shot. So I would agree. I think, right now things are as positive as they've been under Billy Napier, and really since probably, the next to last year under Dan Muller.
Well, it's like Ellis Johnson said on our show, on their morning show, when Billy Napier took over at Florida, he inherited a locker room that was flat on its back in the hospital and ICU. I mean, put that in perspective. That's why he got the job, and that's why Dan Mullen was gone. I look at Florida in the addition of these big, tall receivers, and you throw in a good running back to take pressure to where they have to worry about the run. That's why people like the Gators. And then you got some stability. Ron Roberts is back. There's good schemes on defense. And then the next question is, how good are your special teams? Because that's about a third of every game. So where in Australia did you get your punter? Because everybody else is.
Yeah, no doubt. They actually have a Michigan transfer, an American punter. So transfer out of Michigan. Yeah, Dan Baum, throw me his name. I'm drawing a blank, but great kid, man. Has already got a good relationship with Rocco Underwood. A punter and a snapper, they go hand in hand. But he seems to be punted extremely well in the spring game. So I think people were pleased with that after losing Crawshaw. Trey Smack is back. I got to spend a lot of time with Austin Barber this weekend. It's funny, you talk about quarterback, talk about running back, talk about receiver, but as well as I do, with the goons that they got on the edge in the SEC, you better have a really good left tackle. And a guy like Austin Barber, who tested the draft waters, came back for a senior season where I think he even feels you could just see him walk different. I think this is as healthy as he's been at his time in Florida, really since he arrived. Had some shoulder issues and took some time off this spring to really get himself really acclimated and getting back to things. Kind of took it easy last spring, and I think he's poised for a good year. So you got a great left tackle, you got a great quarterback, 2 to 3 backs in the 3 to 4 even in the running back room, and as deep as 6 or 7 at the receiver position. The defense should be better. I mean, they look pretty good on defense, and they have 4 or 5 defensive backs out, Rob. So I think that I mean, like you said, what the Gators are building is going to be, I think a lot of people are going to be pleased with, and you kind of get to ease into the schedule. I mean, yes, that big game, the third week headed to Baton Rouge is one thing, but when it comes down to it, those first 2 games, LIU, USF, should allow people. Tommy Doman, correct. Dan, appreciate that. Dan's our crack Gator Bait Media data guy, but research. But it should flow really well into that matchup. Probably would be one of the top matchups early in the season when they take that trip to Baton Rouge.
Oh, we had a really lively discussion this morning talking about the tight ends. Rodney Orr was talking from Tighter Insider and Yancey Porter Rebel Yell Hotline. And then Brendan popped in and made a good point. He said, I played tight end out in high school, and said, what happens, everybody in the SEC says, hey, we're going to go with the tight end. Big deal. Let's get 3 or 4 of them. Brendan's right. These edge rushers, they're just out there. They eat you up, chew you up, spit you out. That's the difference. You got guys that are 6'4", 270 out on the edge. They can run a sub 4.9 40. That tight end might be doing 4.75 or 4.8.
Right.
That's guys. That's hard to overcome.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's the reason why they pay those big uglies on that left side, the big bucks at left tackle. And speaking of sack guys, Florida returns their leading sack man and Tyreek Sapp. LJ McCray came with a lot of fanfare. Really should take the next step, according to Mike Peterson. But another thing we want to get into, Rob, and I know you talked to Brendan a little bit. Has Brendan ever mentioned, I have the best shoe game in the Gator media, and it ain't even close, So A lot of times
Tell
they
me more.
tease me about my number of shoes and things like that. So we're going to bring a little segment, man, a little pop culture. I know I got some guys on here that like kicks and things like that. So we're going to whip out, kind of do something. We're going to call it Kicks of the Week. Now, the one good thing about Kicks of the Week is it's 52 weeks in the year. I don't know if we're going to do this all 52 weeks, but I have enough shoes to cover us for all 52 weeks. So, so what we're going to start with, and I'm trying to, maybe I'm trying to get a plug here, Rob, but we're going to start out. We got the Chinese New Year, the Lunar New Year. You hip to the Chinese New Year? So these are the Year of the Dragon. So this was 2024 edition. So the Year of the Dragon. So one of my favorites, man. I had to jump out the box with these. So just so you see, take a good look at them. So those are the Year of the Dragon, Lunar New Year, Nike Air Jordan 1. So definitely gonna break them out. So every year, Rob, I don't know if you know, Nike comes out with a Chinese New Year pair. So last year was the Year of the Dragon, and 2025 was the Year of the Snake. So every year they come out, and I'll give you a guess. Give a wild guess. What's 2026? What do you think is the year of the what? What do you think?
The Gator? Year of the Gator?
No.
Year
of the horse. So it'll be so to be interesting how you make a tennis shoe with a horse, but Nike's gonna give it their best try. So for all my sneakerheads out there, some of my boys from Dayton really dial into the kicks, but this is this week Kicks of the Kicks of the Week. So StockX, GOAT, Flight Club, y'all holla at me, man. We're in this for real. So this is real out here. So
I like it. I mean, Audrey's got a collection of boots that I'll put up against Imelda Marcos. I mean,
yeah, no doubt.
It's good for your feet to switch shoes. I love it, man. I mean, those are good looking shoes, and I never knew they existed, but I'm gonna learn a lot on this show.
Yeah, you gonna learn a lot, Rob. No doubt.
It's shoe time.
No doubt. Rob, I want to get into something real quick, and then we're gonna head to Ryan Urquhart, who's going to talk to us a little bit about the SEC. But I know you from afar, you're a Memphis guy. We struggling in that NBA, man. My Lakers went out in the first round, your Memphis Grizzlies. But what are you looking for? I mean, it's like at this point in time, we might as well talk softball because really not much NBA for the two of us to root for. But we're going to get into it a little later. Talk about where maybe Steph Curry, if he can make this last run, he and Jimmy Butler, where they'll be if Golden State could pull it out. A lot of people rooting for Al Horford to get another one, seeing as the Gators won one. If the Celtics can win one, the Gators won one, that'd be a big deal. But I think, with maybe some new blood and maybe the young people, Oklahoma City, and some of the other squads, the Cleveland Cavaliers seem to be handling their business tonight after dropping game one. The Knicks are relevant. I think it's all good for a league that has taken its lumps a little bit, but seems to now, when the playoffs start, it's almost like Final Four. A lot of people don't watch NCAA during the year, but then when the tournament starts, I think it's the same thing for the NBA.
Well, having a team, the Grizzlies, they're a lot of fun to go to. Regular season games, they really crank up in the fourth quarter. And when I sit with my friends' seats, like 2 rows off the floor, you fully appreciate how great athletes these guys are. And Steph Curry, I mean, he can score 40 points, and it's like he scored 8. You watch Kevin Durant post up at the top of the arc and just drain 3-pointers at 6'11". And then you got John Moran. We have Will Gunner on our show from South Carolina. He coached him a little bit of ball, AAU ball. I think Ja has turned his life around. He's a kid. I mean, I would say he's 25, maybe now. And he got that $250 million contract. Grizzlies just got rid of their coach. Taylor Jenkins got a new coach. But Scottie Pippen Jr., by the way, is emerging as a really good player for the Grizzlies. Remember, he played at Vanderbilt for, I think, 2 years.
Played for Stackhouse, right?
Yeah, Jerry Stackhouse, former Tar Heel. But, and look, I love basketball, and it's fun to watch these college kids go into the NBA. Al Horford's been playing how long?
Man,
17 years?
Yeah, 18. So I'm like, yeah, '07. So yeah, I mean, we're going on
He was in
18
San
years.
Antonio, by the way.
Yeah, he was. I got to talk to him a little bit. Yeah, it was good to see him, man. Good to see all those guys. But I'm kind of in. Here's my thing, and then we're gonna bring in Ryan. I'm in anti-Celtic mode. I'm a true Laker fan. I don't like the Lakers because of Kobe. I don't like the Lakers because of LeBron. I don't want the Celtics to win nothing. So that's where I'm gonna leave it. Is I'm rooting for everybody but the Celtics now that my Lakers are gone. So Rob, when you see me, that's where it is. So, but I'm not even really watching. I'm just watching from afar because once the Lakers get beat, so now I'm dialed into this SEC softball tournament, and with that, we'll bring in Ryan Urquhart, broadcaster with the Florida Gators since 2019. Florida closed the regular season 43-14, riding a 2-game win streak. Just clinched the series over number 1 Oklahoma 6-4. First home win series against the Sooners since 2015. The SEC tournament runs May 6th through the 10th at Jack Turner Stadium in Athens. Florida enters as the number 6 seed and will play tomorrow, Wednesday, at 6 p.m. against the Ole Miss Rebels. And with that, we welcome in Ryan Urquhart. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm good, guys. How you doing tonight?
Appreciate you joining us. I think this SEC tournament is taking on. I mean, this year more than anything is so exciting because you have Texas and Oklahoma coming into the league, but then you have Arkansas, who seems to be everybody's darling, won 6 series in a row in the SEC. But going into this SEC tourney, and now things have kind of thinned out. What are you looking for in the tourney, and just what can you tell us that we should expect going into Athens with basically 7 of the top 8 teams in the country in this field?
Yeah, the first thing I can tell you is that in my experience with this tournament, it is unlike anything else because the talent of the SEC in softball is unparalleled. I mean, this is the deepest league. And for context, basically the entire league is going to make the NCAA tournament with ease. In our terms of RPI, Florida is either number 1 or number 2 right now based on the latest metrics. And a lot of that is just simply because there are no breaks in this league, especially with the addition, as you mentioned, of Texas and Oklahoma. And it's one game in the SEC tournament, right? Last year, Florida went on a run and they won 3 games, and that sort of locked up a super regional spot. And it was a springboard for them into the postseason to make a run to the Women's College World Series semifinals, came out of the losers bracket, almost made the national championship. And if you ask anyone around the program, and myself and Kyle would echo this, that it started in the SEC tournament up in Auburn last year. Now, this time it's in Georgia. Ole Miss is a very good team. Florida has, if it's all chalk, a really tough set of matchups where essentially they're going to go through the gauntlet of, A&M, Texas, Oklahoma to try and win this thing. And we saw Florida take one from Texas at home, obviously came back and won that series against Oklahoma. And that Texas A&M series opening conference play, Gators got one on the road without their ace in terms of the series, but I mean, it was as competitive as they come. So it's sort of an all bets are off thing, but I think the good news for Gator fans, this time Florida's got their super regional spot already locked up. So they can feel good about that more than anything, you just want to see the bats continue to go. And no matter how this goes, you just want the Gators to look as confident as they did.
And I think that's a question, Ryan, and that I wanted. So do you feel like the Gators have, even if they would go out and lose tomorrow against Ole Miss, you think I've seen as high as 4th, as low as 7th, but you think no matter what, they're in that top 8 to get that super regional home spot should they advance?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, Florida's strength of schedule is just ludicrously good. RPI is usually the guiding metric for the NCAA tournament. There's going to be some variance there based on it could be matchups. It could be in terms of how they finish their conference tournaments. It could be movement with other teams. But I would feel extremely confident. I'm basically certain they're going to be a top 8 seed. Now, the question for me is, who do you get on the other side of your bracket? Assuming it's chalk out of the regionals. I've seen some projections against Texas Tech, which would be a tough challenge for the Gators. They have Nigeri Kennedy, who you might know that name. She was at Stanford last year, had a big NIL deal to go to Texas Tech. Oregon I've seen in that mix. Alabama's a potential matchup. That was a really close series in Gainesville. All the bracketology is still shaking out, and Florida also could get some good regional opponents. So I think ultimately they're going to host a super. To me, it's who's coming to Gainesville. That's going to be the really interesting
Yeah, and
question.
Rob, despite Auburn losing, I know you keep your finger on the pulse, your show, SEC Sidelines. Rob covers it all. And, Rob, with Oklahoma, Texas, I mean, this next 3 to 4 days could be some of the best softball we've seen in the history of the conference.
It could be. And I think what really jumps out to me, and Ryan, this as a broadcaster, Florida got the win at Oklahoma. I mean, in Norman. And that –
No, it was here. It was here,
okay,
Rob.
that's what I thought. Okay, I was going to say it was in Gainesville.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I don't think anybody's beating them, but Love's Field. I mean, think about that. Love's Field, Love's Travel Plaza. You've got the Buc-ee's money behind Texas A&M, the Pilot, the Haslams behind Tennessee. Who does Florida have? But Florida, look at Oklahoma 17-7, Texas 16-8. They were running basically unscathed through the Big 12. The SEC put 15 losses combined on those two schools. What was different about Oklahoma and Texas from traditional, the other, 14 SEC schools, and them inside out? Well, Vanderbilt doesn't have a team, but they're really good in bowling.
Right.
Kingpin is the favorite move.
It's the one. I've been to one school for the SEC, but no Vandy and softball's made it tough to get out to Nashville. I think what's different about Oklahoma and Texas is you're right. It's just been a different world for them stepping into the SEC. I actually think Texas this year demonstrated a lot of really good dominance making the transition. Oklahoma, obviously, they're the regular season champions. They deserve their flowers, but Oklahoma's had a lot more question marks thrown their way, particularly when it comes to their pitching depth. But it's kind of like I said before that in the Big 12, like you alluded to, the only real challenge for them was Oklahoma State. Traditionally, that was really the only team that could maybe take one from OU or take one from Texas. And really, to be honest, until Mike White got there with the Longhorns, Texas wasn't really that much of a factor consistently either. They've obviously had some great history, but he kind of injected some juice into that program. So it was Oklahoma's league for a really long time. But now, sure, there's more losses on that record, but Oklahoma also gets the opportunity to sharpen their iron a little bit more. They don't get to tear through the bottom half of the Big 12, hang 20 runs, and just chill out until regionals rolls around. And that's not to say every game was easy for them, but I just think that it's a different world. And when you have that much momentum already coming in from those two teams played for the national title last year, so it was this. I remember when the move got announced, everybody's mind naturally went to football, maybe men's basketball. Softball is the first place I went because I'm looking down the pipeline going, are we going to Norman? Are we going to Austin?
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. So this past weekend, we mentioned they took the series from Oklahoma, and we started to see a little bit more than we had seen in the past from laughing because our boy Freddie Weeby, shout out to Freddie. He's a Celtics fan, and he sent me some 4-leaf clovers to give me the blues. But what did you see from Keegan Rothrock in the two games Thursday and Saturday that may kind of signal her maybe rounding back into form and really being able to get back to the Keegan Rothrock of 2024 and really allow Florida to make that push? I think Red Oxley has been a great addition. Ava Brown starting to pitch real well. And even Kara Hammock gave them some really nice innings on Saturday. Pitched extremely well. Excuse me, Friday. I'm still in Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But same thing.
I'm doing great.
But in the middle game. But seeing Keegan against a lineup like that, taking her lumps, but still being able to get out of some jams with her arm and sitting some batters down. What have you seen from her that allows to think, okay, it's starting to round into form now?
I think the thing with any pitcher in softball is a lot of times we talk about throwing strikes or how hard are they throwing the ball or what are the pitch types. But the biggest thing that when Keegan is on, it's her spin rate with how the ball spins, especially on that rise ball that she throws. When that is on and she is able to spin that ball properly and she's not pressing a little bit too much, Keegan is, in my opinion, one of the best out there in terms of an ace pitcher. Certainly an all SEC kind of, she's the reigning freshman of the year for a reason. As a freshman, watching her last year basically will that team with a little bit of help from Ava to a World Series semifinal, right? That was an incredible run. But this year, what I've seen is that there's not as much pressure. You remember, I think I referenced this earlier. They went to Texas A&M, who by so many metrics was the number one team in the country for a good part of this year. And they won a series without Keegan Rothrock. And that, to me, encapsulates just how much this pitching staff has come along. Stephanie Van Brakel-Prothro, who was formerly the pitching coach at Alabama, has come over and done some really great work with this pitching staff. And for Keegan, I think she just continues to develop. And as she settles into this postseason, if her spin can be where it's been on her best days, if she can throw with confidence, continue to deliver strikes, I know that's from the land of the obvious, but execute that stuff, and if that rise ball's on with the bats moving, Florida's got a really good shot to not just make the World Series, but compete for
that. Sounds good. So everybody knows, and we mentioned the Rothrocks, the Ava Browns. We're going to talk with Jennifer Falby here in a minute, the mother of folk hero in the making, Kendra Falby. Jocelyn Erickson, National Player of the Year, reigning SEC Player of the Year. The names go on, Taylor Shoemaker could be National Freshman of the Year.
Right.
But if there's a name that maybe all of the, let me say casual fan or those that don't follow Florida football, that by the end of the SEC tournament, even Mia Williams is starting to garner some attention. But is there a name that maybe could be poised to have a good weekend and by the end of the SEC tournament say, "Ooh, I didn't even realize they had her. Yeah, she's pretty good too." Is there a name out there that you would latch on to?
For me, if I'm excluding everybody listed there, which that's
they're loaded.
Florida lineup, because they really are a headline in themselves. It's funny because there's been years where it's like, all right, there's some good hitters at the top. Where's the protection? I mean, I look at 6, 7, 8 in this order, and on a lot of teams in America, that's 1, 2, 3 right there. I mean, just the power and the ability to hit. When they're on, man, they're good. But if I got to pick a player that maybe if you're not as tuned into Gator softball, you're just starting to get back in, and you've heard about Kendra Falby, and you've heard about reigning Player of the Year Jocelyn Erickson, you've heard about Corby Otis, who was an All-American. I'll give you somebody who was a third-team All-American last year, and that's Reagan Walsh. And she finished scorching hot in that Oklahoma series. She was great against the Sooners in the World Series last year. I don't know what it is about the Crimson and Cream, but she just kind of locks in and hits stingers. But she is breaking records or setting top 5, top 10 marks for career history. If you look over the years, she came in, started 67 games as a freshman, and over time has just made steady progress, where now you look at her, she's a plus 300 hitter for the 3rd straight season. The home run numbers are in double digits again for the 2nd straight year, just continues to mash. Was a 70 RBI hitter last year, already surpassed 50. For me, if I got to point to somebody that maybe not be, I don't want to say not on the radar, because again, Reagan's an All-American, but outside of that list you mentioned, she's great. A California native, same club team as Francesca Nea, who's now on the coaching staff, a Gator legend. She is as great as they come. Had a phenomenal senior weekend. I'm really excited to see if she can keep it rolling in the postseason.
Man, great work, Ryan. Appreciate that. And we're going to give you the opportunity. You're going to be the first to test out our new segment. So we got a segment. It's called Hype or Have At It. So if it's hype, no big deal, maybe not going to happen. Or have at it means go with it, run with it. So we're going to go. So first, you might have to put yourself out there a little bit. Florida repeats as SEC tournament champ. They would be the first repeat champion, I think, in 4 to 5 years. So I think they've had a different winner the last 4 years. So Florida repeats as SEC champion. Hype or have at it?
I'm going to say have at it. And the reason I'm going to say have at it, And I know I'm coming from a biased perspective,
It's your
being part of
answer.
the radio team, right? So, hey, take a grain of salt with it, right? But that being said, I'm not sure there's anybody who's got more momentum entering the weekend than Florida does, right? And this is a team that lost a really tough series on the road in Baton Rouge. I mean, they run-rolled LSU on Friday, lost a close game Saturday, and the game got away from them. I'm sorry, this was also a wraparound. So Thursday,
We
Friday,
did it,
Saturday,
yeah.
point being, lost the series, right? And then come back, short week for Oklahoma. They played their last game on Monday, play OU on Thursday, and come back in that series to win. That kind of momentum is just contagious. And I've seen it in softball, and I've especially seen it with teams coached by Tim Walm, that, man, you give that team an inch of momentum, they'll take a mile. You know, they have done that time and time through the years where they can flip that switch and you blink and all of a sudden Florida makes a run. They did it last year. I got a good feeling that they can, if not win it, make another good
All
run.
right, and then last one before you go. Oklahoma wins a 5th national title. Hyper have at it. Oklahoma wins a 5th title in a row.
In a row, yeah.
In a row. You know what's funny is I don't want to sit here and give bulletin board material to.
I don't know if
an
they're
opposing
watching, so
team,
go ahead.
especially one in the SEC tournament. But I'll say hype with the caveat that Oklahoma is very good and they're very capable of doing that. And I'm going to say hype because of the pitching depth with Oklahoma. In years past, Oklahoma has had this consistent contingency of great pitching depth, being able to go in the portal and basically get whoever is the top prospect in there, and have a lot of options. Outside of Sam Landry, their ace, things just didn't look consistent. It's when they were in Gainesville throughout the year. Obviously, they're a very good team, but I'm going to say hype also. It's just, man, 3-peating, 4-peating is already hard just by the law of averages. Good Lord, somebody's got to knock this team off sooner or later. That's not an intentional pun. At some point, somebody's got to
no doubt. Well, appreciate you, Ryan. I know you got the American softball American Conference softball tournament this weekend, but what else you got going on? Let the folks know how they may be able to follow you or catch you during this time.
Yeah. I'll have American softball tomorrow. It's 4 games. That'll all be on ESPN Plus. It's going to be real fun. And then I've got NCAA regional action next week. Should be a Gainesville regional. Excited to see what we get there. Then I'm back in Tampa, American Baseball Championship. And then if Florida goes to the World Series, I'll go with them. You can find me on Twitter at Ryan Urk PXP, on Instagram at Ryan Urk, or anywhere on the socials. I'm usually there. My name's pretty hard to pronounce. It's just URQ. Just look for the guy who
all right, man. Thanks a lot, Ryan Urquhart, Florida broadcaster, and other things extraordinaire. Appreciate you coming on, man. And with that, let's get to our sponsor real quick. Meldon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Proven and skilled lawyers since 1971. Just appreciate everything that Meldon Law has done for this show, GatorBaitMedia.com, the Buddy Martin Show, as well as the Florida Gator and Gainesville community. If you have an issue, they're really, into injury law, things like that. But if there's a legal issue that you need, estate planning, anything like that, they'll be happy to refer you to someone who can help you out. Hit that QR code, sends you right to their website. Meldon Law, proven and skilled injury lawyers since 1971. We won't back down. And with that, we bring in the mother, the proud mom of a Gator that's has a great opportunity to lead the Gators, but also slowly becoming not just a Florida softball legend, but a Florida legend in Kendra Falby. How you doing, Jen?
Hi, how are you?
Good. So let's just get to it. I mean, what a weekend as far as what Kendra was able to do. And I mean, just some amazing catches. I mean, it's almost, people chanting her name. I mean, just the electricity in the stadium with, some of the feats that, it was unbelievable.
It was crazy. I have never experienced anything like that ever.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, it's so hard to put words to it, especially, being there. The stadium was just on fire.
Yeah. Now, what is her? I mean, I guess my thing, I know you talked to her. What goes through? I mean, you've talked to her on a number of occasions. Your husband and I have talked, but what is she? I mean, in her frame, how does she explain those things after the fact? Did we lose her?
Oh,
Oh,
can you hear me?
I hear.
yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
You're not on camera. Turn your camera on, maybe.
No, the camera should be on.
Oh, okay.
I can see you. Can you see?
Okay. Go ahead. We can
Is
hear
that
you.
better?
That's better. We can hear you.
So what goes through her head? She'll be the first one to tell you that she doesn't remember what she does. She is just such a natural, and she's just in the moment that she's like, I just black out and I just do what I have to do.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, you look about it, career highs in batting, over 30 stolen bases. I know that she has aspirations and wants to really, jump out there, be an All-American, but I know she's a team player as well. And with the loss of, I won't say the loss, the graduation of Skylar Wallace, she was kind of given the mantle to lead this team. What are the discussions that you've had with her about, being a leader and really taking this group of talented young girls and being kind of the forefront or the head of the snake, or as Tim calls it, the straw that stirs the drink for such a talented team?
Well, we've always, especially Kent, would always say to her from the time she was little, lead by example. Because she'll tell you, I'm not very vocal. I don't want to tell people what to do. She always was concerned about coming across as in your face, tell you what to do. She said, that's not my place. And we've always said, lead by example. Do you, and everything will fall into place. And she has become more vocal. I think that's confidence, with everything that she has been accomplishing over the years. She finally realizes that, hey, I am pretty good. She still won't tell you that she's good, but she's like, well, I have some good techniques. I can do things. And people, the girls look up to her. And that's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, Rob down here, he's a Auburn guy. Unfortunately, they're sitting at home this year, but Rob has a show every day, SEC Sideline Sports at 9 p.m. Eastern, but they cover everything. So surely they'll be talking about the SEC tournament, Rob. But I mean, when you look at Kendra Falby, you don't just see one of the best softball athletes, but you see one of the better athletes in the country when you watch the way she plays with the speed, the explosiveness. I mean, it's just fun to watch.
Well, you watch. I got 2 boys and 2 girls, and they when they play softball when the kids were young. You remember that, Jennifer? And it's slow, and you get to college, it's faster paced than baseball, and it's exciting. And Tim Walton's got a dynasty type program at Florida, and where do y'all live in Florida? Are y'all in-state folks?
Me? Yeah, we're actually in Odessa. We're just north of Tampa.
Okay, yeah. Because I've got good friends that live in Spring Hill and the Steinhatchee River and all that I work with. That it is, to me, watching softball, these girls, they typically stay there their whole career. So, you think about your daughter, she's going to have NIL in the state of Florida her whole life. That's a big deal, because I look at it, and I've got an intern who's a freshman at Auburn, and he'll stay there the whole time. But you look at people that stay at a school, the girls are more loyal than the guys. That's just a fact. I mean, Bren, I don't think anybody can argue with that. So I think it's making softball, look at the crowds for softball. And so your daughter, I love that, just be you. I love it. Do what you do, lead by example. I think it's fantastic, and it's fun. Those games, there's a lot of action in there. But taking down Oklahoma last weekend, that is monumental, because they're trying to go for 5 straight national championships. So you got to love it as a parent traveling to all these games, don't you?
Yes, it is crazy to be able. We're very fortunate to be able to go to every and any game that we want.
Yeah.
But when you mentioned Oklahoma, to see our girls as a team, to see their faces, and they just it's so hard to describe. They seemed as one unit to me watching that entire game, and that's what is pushing the Gators forward in such a momentum, I think, just because of the way every single one of those girls, all 21 of them have a role, and it's working. Whatever they're doing, it's working.
Yeah. We got a question from Dan Bond. I think this is an interesting story for you because you kind of talked about it. I think either was Friday or Saturday. Dan Bond asked, was Kendra always a Gator as a kid? And I guess that kind of filters to you because you weren't always a Gator. So tell the folks a little bit about you and your story and the Gators.
Okay, so starting with me, I went to Florida State, and so I mean, not very interesting. I did intramurals, and I played basketball, and a little bit of softball. Wasn't very good at it. So, but Kendra, she never, from the time she was little, she did not have a favorite school. She did not talk about a college school. All she ever said from the time she was in elementary school, or well, more middle school, that she was going to play D1. That was it. But other than that, I've become a Gator. I know any of my friends and my Florida State fans that are watching. I'm sorry, but how can you not after what you all have been seeing for the past 4 years?
Yeah, no doubt. And I wrote an article. I think I sent it to you. Another thing that I think is very unique, and you and your husband Ken have been kind of the leaders on this and the head of this, is the relationship that is developed between the group of parents. And I don't want to name individuals because I may leave somebody out, but because it's a great group, but just the kinship that is developed between the parents and what I call the casual fan, you know, to where everybody's down in the grove or the pit, as people may call it. And, you know, there's rituals, there's hugs, there's tears, there's just a lot of great relationships. And just what has that meant to you over the last 4 years to really see that? I think, you know, it kind of started when Kendra was a freshman and kind of grew and grew. And right now it's about as good as it's ever been that I can remember, but with the parents and just the fans and everybody being together, and then even filtering to relationships with some of the athletes as well.
You know what's funny about that? And I just realized this the other day. If you think about what goes on at the tailgates and the camaraderie, and even when we get together for dinners after, we really don't talk softball. I mean, if thinking back, we support, we congratulate. Each family will always congratulate another family, and you know, good job, and you know, that's awesome, what's going on, and you know, again, names I could drop a few, but we always compliment each other because we truly mean it. But I think what really brings us together that much more is because we aren't in competition with each other. We are all there for the same reason. And we have fun watching our kids. We're not there to coach our kids. We're not there to tell our kids what to do, or if up to bat, they strike out or you miss a catch. It's not up to us to tell them, do you think these girls at this level don't know if they make a mistake? They don't get up there saying, well, I'm going to strike out today. You know, so we don't have to talk to, you know, we don't have to discuss all that because we have trust and faith in our coaching staff, in the support staff. We don't talk enough credit isn't given to the support staff, the behind the scenes. They are absolutely amazing. And that's what at this level, that's what we as parents have to trust, that their college coaches, their family, they're just an extended family. We as parents, we go, we have fun, and then that's what brings us closer together, I feel.
Mm-hmm. And then, I wrote about the scene where, we honored the seniors. The seniors were honored after the game on Friday, a big win. And here it is, 9:30, 10 o'clock, and a lot of great tributes from the parents of the seniors, things like that. But as I wrote, there were probably 50 to 60, 70 fans that stuck around to be a part of that as well. And what does that mean to the parents, the players, to know that kind of support is there for them week in, week out, but on a moment where, you were honoring the seniors and everybody. And I mean, a lot of times there wasn't a dry eye in the place with some of those speeches, but just what that meant to you guys as parents of a senior, but just as a whole, like I said, to where this kinship, this togetherness has developed with just the fans as a whole.
It means so much. It kind of gets you in the gut. I mean, you were there. I couldn't, even though I did a lot of the talking, I couldn't stop crying, and the emotion. And our whole family, we're not a very crying, emotional type of family. So if you see us cry or tears or hiding it, it has touched us immensely. And every single person there this weekend, like you said, fans, supporters, boosters, grandparents, just Kendra had a friend show up that she has known for, since middle school. And I'm sure, other families have had that. And it's just so hard to put words to it, because it's such a feeling that you can't put words to, because it's a feeling, and it's family.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt it was definitely special, and I'm sure they have the same support this weekend in Athens and going forward. I mean, the Gators always show out. Before we let you go, we want to give a shout out. Kendra is not the only athlete in the family. We got Miley as well, who's we talked about punters, Rob. She might be the best punter in the state of Florida. She can get after it. So before we go, give Miley a shout out, Jen, as well. On her punting.
Miley's just graduating from high school, and she played flag football when and she started in middle school. Actually, younger than that. She was a rusher, and she was crazy. She's fast, just like Kendra, but different. And then COVID happened, so then she couldn't really play much, and she went to a school that didn't have flag football. So then she finally ended up, she played her last year. She went to Sun Lake High School, where Kendra went. And instead of softball, obviously she played flag. And something natural. I think one of her punts that she did this year might have been almost 60 yards. And that's without real training. So we're hoping she wants to maybe pursue it, maybe play at a community college or a junior college. Not sure yet, but I think if someone out there listening checked out some of her film and wanted to have a talk, I'm sure she would.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we appreciate having you on. You guys are headed to Athens in the morning, correct?
Yep, 6 a.m. Okay. We're leaving.
Well, please be safe. The Gators take on the Ole Miss Rebels at 6 p.m. Jennifer, thank you for joining us.
I think we're at 5.
Is it 5? Okay.
Yeah.
5.
Don't anybody miss it. We're starting at 5.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would have missed it.
Early, but we got to. I love hearing from the parents. I got to tell you, man, because volunteer coaching 14 years with kids, 600 plus kids, a lot of parents. You are what I love about sports, because my parents always made us as kids go outside the locker room after the Auburn games, especially after a loss, and that's when you see it hurts. They don't go in there intending to lose or strike out. We need more people like you and your daughter in sports. I salute you. Got a ton of respect for what you just said. I'd love to get her, because I remarried. I have an older daughter that went to Alabama. We love her too. We're all Auburn people, but that's what makes it so much fun. But man, no wonder your daughter is such a not just great athlete, but sounds like a hell of a person. Great
Thank you very
parents.
much.
Yeah.
We really appreciate that because you don't realize how much what you say and do around your kids growing up, how much they really listen and absorb it. They may talk back, they may not agree all the time, but it's when someone like yourself and the fans and the other kids, when we start hearing the compliments, it's like, okay, what we did and said, they did listen. They do listen and they do listen. Yeah. One thing, they do watch what we do as parents. They may not always say it, but they do. They emulate, they mirror what we do, believe it or not.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, she's definitely a good one, and best of luck to Kendra and the rest of the Gator softball team this weekend. Thanks a lot, Jim.
Thank you very much. Go Gators.
Thank you. Go Gators.
That was great. Man, I keep saying the moms, they go to every practice, the games. That's the most undervalued segment of the sports market because I mean, that was great. And then it's the parents. We forget about that way too much in the media. It's all about the athletes and the scores. There's a bunch of people behind them, and that was fantastic.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, just appreciate everything they do. You ought to see them. I mean, they're out there leading the cheers, getting everybody fired up. I mean, it's a great scene. If you're ever in town, Rob, we'll have to get you over there. Before we get into hype or have at it to end the show, let's talk about Titan MRI and Imaging. Titan MRI is now Titan MRI and Imaging. Joe Calorio started Highfield MRI in 1997. Now he's back. Titan MRI and Imaging has 3 locations, 2 in Gainesville with its Park Avenue location, and now at the Millennium Center and 1 in Lake City, serving all of Columbia County and Valdosta, Georgia. Titan MRI and Imaging offers the same great customer service. They now accept insurance or through their convenient self-pay options. They have MRI, CT scan, X-rays, and ultrasounds, easy scheduling with lots of options, larger MRI machines for patient comfort. No ERs, no hospitals. Coming soon to Ocala to better serve Marion and the surrounding area. Titan MRI, it's your choice. And with that, Rob, we're going to go into hype or have at it. Hype or have at it. And I want to get into something. Somebody brought it up to me, and they said, man, I really think Walter Clayton Jr. should have a statue. He was MVP of the West Regional, MVP of the Final Four, first all-conference SEC, first team all-conference SEC player in Florida history. So, first question, hype or have at it? Clayton statue, Walter Clayton Jr. statue.
Absolutely. And everybody in Lake Wales, Bartow, they'll be there. I couldn't believe it. First team All-American for the Gators. No question. He gets a statue. He is a Gator up on your Mount Rushmore level.
Yeah, no doubt. I would definitely say that it's something in the works. I mean, they need to do something to maybe even dress up the facility over there, the basketball facility. But definitely I would say that's a have at it, or at least it's have at it to at least have the discussion. It's definitely not hype for sure. We talked about Steph Curry, and a lot has been made. I'm one of those people that it's apples and oranges. Jordan, LeBron, Kareem, Shaq, Kobe. You can make an argument. Bill Russell, obviously, who's the best ever. But if Steph Curry is to get his 5th and win another title, hype or have at it. If Steph Curry wins another title, he now gets to be in that GOAT conversation.
No,
so that's hype.
No,
that's hype.
Not with no, and it's not disrespect to him, but Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, golly, man, I'd put him in the top 10 all time.
Top 5,
GOAT status.
Not GOAT status.
Yeah. 6th, 7th.
Yeah.
Now I like it.
I mean,
product of Davidson,
right?
College,
no doubt. I'm gonna say have at it just for the sake of discussion. I think you would have to break it down, take a look at it. Dan Bond says hype, but it's it'll be interesting to see if he, the discussion that comes from that, if if it becomes an issue with, will we really, if he wins that, gets that 5th title, now he's with Kobe, he passes LeBron, where he is in that discussion. So 247 brought up their, they put a list out and it has the top, I'm going to just go through the top 10, I guess, top SEC quarterbacks. Number 1 was Garrett Nussmeier. Number 2, Arch Manning. Number 3, Lenore Sellers. Number 4, DJ Lagway. Number 5, John Mateer, Oklahoma. Number 6, Diego Pavia. Number 8, Taylon Green. Number 9, Jackson Arnold, who transferred to Auburn from Oklahoma. And Ty Simpson at number 10 out of Alabama. Hype or have at it, DJ Lagway is too low on the list or too high?
I'd say he's too low, and I think he's healthy. I really do. I don't have any inside information. I think he's better than Lenora Sellers. Lenora Sellers is a really good quarterback. I put Lagway over him. Nussmeier is really good, but what I like about Lagway is he doesn't throw a lot of interceptions. He thinks things through. He's a big picture guy, and he makes everybody around him up their game. You may not be feeling it, but by God, you'll find it when DJ Lagway's under center. He's just, or from the gun, from shotgun,
So have that. He's too low.
No,
you there, Rob? Do we lose Rob? All righty. We'll ask our. We'll go with our.
Rob,
listen,
go
ahead. What do you think? Give at it, EP. Executive producer Brendan Martin, everybody.
I'm a little busy at the moment here, producing your rock star show with it's 600 live viewers, by the way.
Oh, that's awesome.
600 people joined the show tonight. Big
Appreciate
deal.
it.
Good job by you. All love goes to you. Give me the hype or have at it. I didn't hear
hype or have at it. DJ Lagway was rated by 247 as the 4th best quarterback in the SEC. Hype. Is he too low or have at it?
Too low.
So, okay. So have at it. Too low.
I think he's, everything. Well, if you believe what his dad says on Twitter, he's throwing and he's looking great. And so I think that's too low. I think it hurt DJ Lagway. That's too low.
Okay. All right. So you like him better. You got, where you got him? 2nd, 3rd, better than Arch Manning?
Yeah, because I don't know. I haven't seen Arch Manning. So, 2nd.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, we'll see what Arch Manning's got.
All right. And here's one right up your alley, and we'll end on this one. So I don't know if you've seen on social media, you comb the social media pretty good. So 100 men versus 1 gorilla. The gorilla wins. Hype or have at it?
I think it's hype. Because it's just all I just can't even. I'm done with the gorilla story, and now it's like 100 man versus gorilla. Like it's gone too far. It's like the ice bucket challenge. I'm sort of like, you're not gonna get the gorilla's gonna win every time. I think so. No, it's all because it's got to be hand to hand.
Who I saw this. Where did that even come from? I've seen it everywhere.
I think it's Elon Musk. I think he started it. So.
Oh, okay. So, and what did Musk say? Not to get into politics.
Oh, I don't know. It's a Twitter thing. I try.
Okay.
I got enough to worry about it. I got Rob Browne to worry about every day.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, we didn't get to see
and everybody else. So.
Right. Well, we didn't get to say goodbye to Rob, but do you know who we got on the show tomorrow for SEC Sideline?
Okay. Join ATC Sports. Have us fun. We have a good time in the morning, so it's going to be good stuff. I haven't looked at our guest list, but it's going to be good.
All right, man. We'll appreciate everybody coming on. For executive producer Brendan Martin, Rob Browne of SEC Sidelines, Ryan Urquhart of Florida Sports, and definitely special guest, honored guest, Jennifer Falby of the Florida Parents, representing all the Florida parents, and mother of the great, we're going to say from now on, the great Kendra Falby. But appreciate everybody joining us on the Lowdown with Loren Meadows. See you next week, same time, recording live from somewhere.